Hey everyone, and welcome to, I believe, part 4 of our Mythomorphia color along, where we have been working on the fire dragon. So this is Mythomorphia by Kerby Rosanes. We've got quite a bit done already. We've got the rock done down here, we've got the dragon's wings, we just have his body left, and then accents and just some other kind of random bits and bobs. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to get it done in one part or if we will need 5, but actually I apologize if I sound a little bit strange. I'm still recovering. I let you guys know that I wasn't really feeling well, sore throat, all that fun stuff. So we are actually delaying this. This was supposed to be September's color along, but we're delaying it until November, which we still only have 4 Fridays, but if we have to do it in 5 parts, we will. Maybe we'll post Mondays or something instead. But yeah, we're not going to waste too much time. We're pretty much going to dive right on into this. So let's zoom in a little bit, if I can. Okay. I think my autofocus is on. So far it seems like it's behaving itself, so we'll leave it for now and see. Let me just grab my pencils that we need. So I think before we get too into him, I kind of want to start on these little bits here because they're going to be a little bit different. They're going to have a little bit of colored accent to kind of tie into the background and whatnot. Okay, so out of all of the reference pictures I kind of looked at for this, the ones that spoke to me the most had like a different color, kind of accenting the dragon's underbelly. So I definitely would kind of like to go that route. I think I kind of want to add some color in here, though. I don't have my black and white like I'm supposed to. Do I still have the swatches, though? Okay. So definitely want to add some black in there. One second. I was actually working on some other stuff while I wasn't feeling very well, so okay. So I think the first thing I'm going to do is go in with the mahogany red. I've got paper behind my page protecting it. And we're just going to start right here. We're going to lightly go in and just add a little bit of color and kind of fade it out. It's basically just right under these, I don't know what you want to call them, like plates, maybe chest plates. I don't know, that's the name that comes to mind, but I'm sure that's not the correct terminology. But we want it to be the darkest, kind of underneath here. And then it'll kind of fade out, so I might add some black in there to make it kind of pop quite a bit. I'm not sure how far I want to drag it out. The real challenge will be kind of blending this bright fiery color in with the rest of the dragon. Now, luckily, they're all red tones, so it shouldn't be too bad, but we'll see. Oh, excuse me, sorry. My voice is, for the most part, back to normal, but I can't get rid of the sneezes. Slight runny nose. I'm pretty sure it's just like a really nasty head cold, but really quite sure about here. Here it gets a little confusing. Let's kind of fade a little bit of this down because I imagine the other plate would probably be like right around here. So we'll fade a little bit. We're not going to go too dark. And then this one, instead of being behind, it looks like it's kind of in front. So I'm not really digging that because it's almost like they kind of switched. I don't really know what to do there. Let's maybe have this coming off both ways and maybe like out from this way. I don't know. It might not make sense, but I don't really know what else to do here. So we're kind of having it come out from both ways, I guess. Move that a little bit here. I think we're still in decent focus. So let's move back up this way. Okay, we'll just focus on where we can see for now, so we're not moving the page around like crazy. Okay, so let's come in with the black. And I'm going to go fairly dark right under these plates here. And then just fade it out slightly. I don't want too much of the black. It's mostly just going to be a really heavy shadow. We'll do down to this one. Just trying to kind of judge what I can see on the screen right now. Shadow a little bit on this side too, because it looks like it's got some kind of center plate, so I imagine it's kind of like a wedge shape. So I imagine this side would have a little bit of shadow. I definitely want to keep that triangular feel, so my shadows and stuff are going to kind of follow the same angles and same kind of shape that these are. Okay, let's come back in with the mahogany red. I'm going to pop this in over top of the black, fairly dark, and then fade it out. Again, don't want too much of this. This is just going to help us transition from the black to our brighter reds. So after that, we're going to come in with some brighter colors. First being the Crimson Lake. And for the most part, the shadow that we've started is fairly burnished, but I'm still going to bring that Crimson Lake just over top of it and bring it out a little bit. And that should help. It'll still keep it dark, but it should help brighten it up a little bit too. I've got the permanent red. I'm kind of debating skipping this, but let's add a little bit up here and kind of see what happens. Ooh, no, we do not want to skip this one. So I'm just going to pop this in, kind of coming out from the Scarlet Lake. I'm not going to use too much of this. I think we're just going to bring it out pretty much along to where we left off with the Crimson Lake. I keep wanting to say Scarlet Lake, Crimson Lake. Okay. So I'm just going to kind of go over the fade that we left off with the Crimson Lake with this one. So it's not going to come out any further. We're just going to leave it kind of like that. Going back to these ones because I don't really like the fade on them. I just want to bring it out a little bit more. Okay. Okay, and then we're going to throw some orange in here. Same thing, I'm just going to bring it down a little bit. And then fade it out, and I'm going to try and leave kind of like a highlight area along the underside here, at the very bottom of these. Can use the orange to kind of smooth everything out. And while this is pretty close to being burnished, I think what I want to do is I want to take the mahogany red. I'm just going to come in along some of these lines that Kerby has drawn in here. And I'm just going to go, for the most part, it looks like I'm going to go around the right side of those lines and just add a little bit of depth to them. Make them look a little bit shadowed so that way they look a little more textured. Okay, so from there I kind of want to introduce our dragon colors again. Didn't leave as much space as I was originally planning, which is fine, but gonna make it a little bit trickier trying to blend them together. I'm missing colors here. I used some of the colors that I'd been using for this for a different picture, so I shouldn't be missing the swatch cards for them. Okay, so for the dragon we used the black, 70% warm gray, dioxazine purple hue, black cherry. I'm missing the dark purple one, and then we've got, let's see, shell pink, eggshell, and raspberry. Okay, I'm just missing the dark purple swatch. Let's see if I can locate that quick. I blow dried my kiddo's hair, so I bet you it probably flew off somewhere. Oops. Really thinking about that. Okay, we might either have to make do without it or quickly make another one. Okay, I got put away with some of the previous ones. So this is actually the color I think I want is the dark purple. Maybe not actually. I'm not really sure how I want to do this. Okay, yeah, let's use the dark purple. We're going to come in just along the bottom here and then fade it out. Thinking maybe I should have done this backwards and had purple going into the red, but we'll make it work. Still looks pretty cool, just not what I had seen in my head, which is totally fine. Okay, let's grab the eggshell. And as weird as it is, I think I'm actually going to use this color to kind of blend the purple and our other colors together. Okay, not too bad. I think that actually looks pretty cool. So, I'd love to start working on his head, but I kind of want to finish these just so that way I know that I'm doing them all the same way, so they all look the same. So let's just carry on and go through those exact same steps. Starting with the mahogany red. Just want to darken up in here a little bit more. Going with the black. Same thing, super dark right underneath where the two plates meet. And then we'll fade it out. So this one will probably go to about here. So we can fit quite a bit in this one frame. Okay. From there, let's go back in with our mahogany red. Go fairly dark over top of the black and just fade it out slightly. Shadow kind of under his arm a little bit here too. Crimson Lake, same thing. Just remember, we're only bringing the permanent red down just as far as we brought the Crimson Lake. Yeah. We can fade it out a little bit farther if we need to, that way it blends easier, but definitely gotta save room for our other colors. Especially if you're like me and have kind of a problem with adding too much shadow, which I always do. fill in with the orange. And we can use this to smooth anything out, and then we're also going to fade it out a little bit, remembering to try and save kind of like an outline around this whole shape here. Down here I think we're just going to color it in because we don't really have room for much else, so we try and leave a little highlight on this one though. Even though it's kind of backwards, then it'll at least still look the same, and then hopefully won't be so noticeable that it's different. Come in with our dark purple. And then lastly, we'll go in and smooth and blend that in with the eggshell. And then, kind of out of order, but better late than never, I'm going to come in with the mahogany red after I drop it on the floor. Oy. Okay, and let's see, where do we, I think we started from here. Same thing as before, I'm just going to pick out a couple of these lines that Kerby has drawn in here and just add a little bit of a shadow to them to kind of bring them out a bit. Adds a little bit of extra interest and shape to the already shape that we have there. It's looking pretty cool. Okay, I have a little kitty that wants in, and I will be right back. Alright, and I'm just going to do the exact same steps with the last little bits here. Starting in with, if I can find it, the black. Now these get pretty small, so we are probably not going to be able to fit all of these colors onto them. We will do what we can. There are some colors that we can skip. For example, the Permanent Red and the Crimson Lake are fairly similar. I don't think it'd be too noticeable if we missed one of them on these smaller ones. So we'll fill what we can and kind of go from there. Let's see. We'll go in with the permanent red on these top ones, but I think that's one of the colors we're gonna cut out for the smaller ones. Just gonna lightly, maybe bring it in over top of the crimson lake a little bit, but can't really fit too much in there. And then lastly, we're going to blend that in with the eggshell. Okay, and there's those bits done, and because I am impatient, I'm going to take a yellow highlighter. Again, I'm just going to try this on the bottom for now. I kind of want to really brighten these up, so let's just go in over top with the yellow highlighter and do that. And make sure to clean your highlighter off after, because it does pick up some of that color from the Prismas. So it kind of turned it more orange, if you can kind of see like a before and after. So you could keep the red if that's what color you like. I kind of wanted it to blend a little bit more into the background, but still kind of stand out, and it does. So I like that. Okay, so we didn't use this color. I'm going to set it off to the side. Might still end up using it later on, but for now I don't think we need it. Now I think we just need our dragon colors, and I can't remember the order that we used them on the wings. Not that it really matters. As long as we use the same colors, it shouldn't matter if they look a little bit different or not. So I don't know, let's start off with the dioxazine purple hue. And start adding some shadow to our dragon's face. Now his head kind of starts and then slowly changes into flame. So we're going to have to kind of fade out a lot of this. Don't really know what to shadow and what to highlight here, so I kind of use Kerby's lines as a guide a little bit. Anywhere where he's got like darker hatching, I imagine would be shadow. Kind of want to shadow in underneath here. Definitely around this guy's eye. He looks a little silly, but I'm hoping that once we get more color on him, he'll start to kind of normal out a little bit. As normal as you can make a Kerby Rosanes dragon look. I don't want to add too much shadow. I think I'm going to stop there. Okay, our next color would be the black cherry. I'm definitely going to pop that in right over top of what we've already colored because I kind of want to get away from that blue tone because we've got that tone right behind his head, and I don't want his head to blend into his wing. I want his head to really pop out. I don't know how we're going to achieve that, but we'll play around and figure it out. So I'm going to go in with the black cherry and just go over pretty much everything that I just put in. So that way we keep the darkness of the dioxazine purple hue, but we are making it a little bit more on the red side. Okay, from there, let's lighten this up a little bit. We'll go in with the, I think, dark purple. Yeah, let's go in with that. If I can find it again here, there we go. Okay, so I think the only way we're going to really be able to get his head to really stand off the page is to really highlight it. So I'm going to go in everywhere with the dark purple that we put shadows, and I'm going to bring it out just a little bit, and I'm going to fade it off, leaving a little bit of a highlight between where I'm coloring and the next line, if that makes sense. So like, for example, his horn right here, I'm going to come in a little bit dark to kind of match the shadows, and then I'm going to bring it out and lighten it up as I get to the edge, and I'm going to leave kind of the undercolor at the top there. And I'm going to do that everywhere. So I'm just going to make sure that there is highlights wherever we can leave them. Okay, sorry, I am making chicken dumplings, and I just have to go add the vegetables into the crock pot so that way it's all done at the same time. So we are just going to continue on with the dark purple. Fade this out up here. This should fade into our fire colors fairly simple, hopefully. Fairly easy. I'm not sure what I'm trying to say. Fairly easily, without too much trouble. It's really bothering me. This watercolors might not be as good as I thought. They're really good for the pigment, but I'm going to just try and find a way around that next time. Okay, I want the inside of his mouth to be a little bit different, so I think, without overthinking it and possibly messing up the picture, we'll risk it and see. Down here needs to be a little bit darker though. That's shadowed, that's shadowed. I like how his face is looking though. Let's go in with the Crimson Lake. And I'm I'm just going to pop this in here and burnish everything. So maybe add a little bit of red to his eye too. And we'll go back in with the, I think Indanthrone Blue, or no, Dioxazine Purple Hue. I always get those two mixed up. And we're just going to add a little bit of shadow onto either side. Just so it's not quite so noticeable, but he's looking very demonic. Okay, and then, I can't remember which color I liked more. I think I want to go with the eggplant, or eggshell. Hopefully this works. Okay. So I'm going to come in on these highlights and just blend into the purple. And I'm going to do this everywhere. I'm going to try not to go into the shadows too much, but I just kind of want to blend on the edges and kind of into that kind of mid-tone purpley area. There we go. Now he's got these wicked highlights. I think I want to go in with, which color was that? The black cherry? Yeah. Let's go in with the black cherry and just kind of come across some of these lines. Bring some of those details back out. Any shadows that were kind of lost because we may have accidentally went over them too much with the eggshell, we can bring those back out. There we go. Okay, and then now I'm keeping all the colors that I've used around, that way I can use that one. We're going to use that one right away. Use this one. I have not used this one yet. I don't think I've used that one. I like to kind of keep track, that way I always put what I've used in the beginning of the videos, and if I mix everything up, then it kind of creates a problem. Okay, so let's go in with the Dioxazine Purple Hue now. And we'll start working on our dragon's skin. I think I'm going to make this part a little bit darker. Maybe kind of blend it into the shadows on these plates. just so they do look like they're connected and not just completely different. Especially since they're a different color, it's kind of important that they still look cohesive. So move him up a little bit. We'll work down to about his shoulder here. And then same on this side. I think I'm gonna make the inside darker. Kind of blend it into these shadows on the plates as well. Switch to our next color, which I think will be the black cherry. If I can find what I did with the swatch for it. There it is. Okay, same thing as on his face. We're just kind of going to go over and kind of change the hue to more red. Still gonna have a blue undertone, but it's just gonna look more red. I don't think we're gonna put too many colors into his body. I want to keep his body fairly simple. You can kind of bring the black cherry in on its own up here to create shadows without it blending into our darker shadow here. And then we'll come in with the dark purple. We're going to kind of do the same thing, excuse me, we're going to do the same thing that we did on his face. So I'm going to come out with the dark purple, but I'm going to leave a little highlighted area. Just wherever I can. Some areas are a little bit tight for space, but okay, and then the last step is coming in with the eggshell. And blending that together. just like that. And then what we can do to add a little bit of detail without it being too much, so you can come back in with the dark purple and just kind of draw over some of these little scales. Don't even have to do all of them, you can just pick out a few. It's going to add some interest back into the picture. It's going to add a little bit of extra detail. It's just going to make it look a little bit more fun to look at. Just going to blend and shade in here a little bit more. It kind of looked a little bit unfinished. Okay. Get those out of the way. So we'll come down here and focus on his legs. We're gonna kind of stick to those colors, I think. I like how they're looking together. I want to keep him fairly cohesive, I guess, for lack of a better word. Just not quite sure how I want to go about this. I know this part here is going to be shadowed. Let's just go with what we know first. So I want to shadow this, kind of his leg all along the side here, as well as just along the left side. We'll just follow that down, a little bit back here to separate the back leg from the front leg. Okay, here will be shadowed. Same with this little bit here and here. Okay, I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to create my own shadow, and I'm hoping that this goes well, but I'm going to kind of create like a rounded shadow here. Because I kind of want it light on both sides. I want his legs to kind of feel like they're popping out of his body. Which, I mean, they technically would be, but we also want it to look like that. So maybe let's go like that. Let's just kind of carry this shadow down a little bit. Definitely put some shadow in between his feet here, and definitely along the bottom of his foot. Let's go on this side of this one. And this one I think I'm going to kind of leave unshadowed for the most part. We'll add just like a little bit on these like really cross-hatchy bits. This leg back here would be mostly in shadow, I believe. We want to add a little bit of highlight though, so it's not completely lost. But for the most part, it's going to be fairly dark. So we'll kind of leave that one like this, I think. And then this one here, I think I'm going to kind of do the same thing that I did with up here. That way, even if the shadow placement's wrong, maybe it might still look like it belongs. If it's on both of them, I don't know, I'm kind of just winging it here. If you haven't already noticed, I don't know what I'm doing. Okay. Did I bring... I thought I brought my hot chocolate in here, but I didn't. My throat's a little bit dry. I'm going to grab a drink. I'll be right back. Much better. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to go with something that looks like that. I'm definitely going to shade in underneath where his leg kind of tucks in behind. it to you, I don't know. It looks okay, so hopefully it's gonna go well. Not quite sure what color I want to do his claws yet. I'm liking this. It looks okay, so hopefully it works out. So same as before, let's go over our shadows with the black cherry. Oops. Oh, my hands do not want a hand today. Does anybody else have that problem, or am I just like really klutzy maybe? Might be both. And some days my hands just don't want to work at all. Okay. So let's come in and red up this purple. Also add a little bit to some of these lines and stuff too, maybe. I am really proud of my autofocus. Hopefully it hasn't been like blurring out. Every time I look over it seems okay. Strange. Because usually it always does that weird like pulsating thing. Where it's like trying to constantly focus but just can't quite get there. I really need to stop using that word too. Sounds so bad. I am a child. Can't help it. I have a dirty mind. Okay. This is looking pretty awesome if I do say so myself. So I am kind of digging this. Is it weird to say that like his legs might be my favorite part of him? I think because of the amount of detail in them, I think they'd be like hard to mess up even if I didn't completely. No, because I don't know what I'm doing, but I think even if like I really didn't know what I was doing, like a complete beginner, just never colored in my life, I feel like I could still make this picture look good. Just because it's already amazing. That is what I'm trying to say. Just in more words and more confusing way. Kind of ended up coloring that claw there, but I think it'd be okay since it's so far back. I think it'd mostly be in shadow anyway, so it would make sense, hopefully. It might just be a happy accident, hopefully. This guy needs a name. Okay. I'm liking that. Let's go in with our dark purple now, and I think I'm going to sharpen this one too. I'm kind of liking the effect that the sharper pencils are giving me. They're just working a little bit better. I don't know if I want to add too much of a dark purple around here. I kind of feel like I should have a highlight there as well. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the dark purple in on the shadows. I'm going to lightly go over it. That way it's still got that purple to it, but it's also going to be a little bit of a lighter highlight as well. And then on this side, we're just going to kind of fade in, leaving just some uncolored area for a really bright highlight. We'll do the same thing here. Well, still looks like a dragon foot, so maybe add a little bit of the dark purple here and fade it out for a highlight. I don't really know what to do with this thing. I don't know what it is. It's like a muscle maybe. I don't know what color it would be. All I know is my hand is on fire. Like the smell? Hubs comes up the stairs. He's just sniffing up a storm. Okay, I think I'm going to leave it like this and go in with the eggshell. And then same as before, I think I'm gonna just kind of bring out a select few of these scales. Definitely some of these like wrinkly skin foldy bits of his feet. It's definitely not looking as blended on camera as it is in real life. He looks very... Does it look like that up here? Yeah, I guess it does. Okay. It is burnished. I probably couldn't layer any more or too much more on this. Okay, let's carry on. Actually, we're at about an hour and a half, maybe a little bit more. I think I'm going to stop this part here and then we will just do a fifth part, which will probably only be like an hour, hopefully. Just because we still have quite a bit to do. We still have the remainder of his tail. We've got the fire. I think we've only got 2 like random bits in this page for like hidden objects or whatever. We've got this clip thing over here. It's probably got a name and I don't know what it is. Hair thingy. I know that much. And then we've also got the playing card up here, which for the most part will be fairly simple. I think we'll just like throw in some grays and then of course have some reds in there. Keep it pretty basic. Let's see if I can zoom out a little bit here so we can get a general idea how he's looking. He looks badass. I am actually really digging him. I'm gonna just, one thing I'm not liking, I'm gonna take my orange here and I'm gonna just go over this a little bit. It's just a little bit too bright back there. I'm gonna knock that back. There. So I think this will be it for part 4, and I will see you guys in part 5. As always, take care and see you soon. Bye!